Okay, see here. We know that most food chains start with plants. So all the food chains start with what? Start with the plants only. So plants are capable of converting solar energy, converting means changing, to that stored in chemical bonds of compounds by the process called as a photosynthesis. Photo means light, na? Synthesis means preparation. In the presence of the light, it prepared the food. What food they it prepare? It prepare the carbon compounds. So plants are thus called as a producers. Plants, food chain or food web, everything starts with the plants. So here in this, plants are the producer. That means plant always gives. Producer means giver. Giving always fruits, vegetables, bhaji and everything. You will study about this in detail in the chapter Life Process Part 1. All organisms other than producers in a food chain are usually consumers. The producers in a rice farm are mainly the rice plants. Okay. So organisms that then producers in a food chain are usually consumers. Now animals, birds, human beings, all are the consumers. Consumers means what? Eaters. We eat the food what we get from the plants. So we are the consumers, plant are the producers. Okay, so the producers in the rice farm mainly the rice plants. Several organisms thrive in a rice farm for showing the harvesting season. So we can see in the harvesting season a rice farm. So many organisms will come, like from the starting to the end, always in the rice farm. When we started to plant the paddy, from that time onwards we can see so many visitors in the rice farm. Okay, so you see here in the rice farm, how many are there? This is the food web. Rabbit, squirrel, rat, seed eating birds, but on them who is human being also depend on the they depend on the rice farm, also depending on the rabbit. On the rabbit who is depending fox, on the squirrel who is depending owl, and from here, so depending on each other for the food. Okay, so it is called as it is the food web. Okay, so many food chains together become a food web. Food chain means only in one way. Squirrel eat the plant, and squirrel is eaten by whom? By the squirrel is eaten by the fox. Okay, so this is one food chain, one linear, that means straightly food chain. Food web means so many food chains. You see, so many. This is the food web, depending on each other for the food. For example, in this plant, this is a 1000 square meter land. Okay, in that how many plants? 1 lakh rice plants are there. On them how many rats are depending for the food? 1000 rats. 1000 rats are eaten by whom? By the 50 snakes. And 50 snakes who is eating? 5 hawks are eating. So this is the food chain. Okay, food chain is the linear form. Linear means straight form. Okay, otherwise it will be like this, circle form. So this is the one, depending on each other for the food. You see, number is decreasing when we go 1 lakh means 1000 rats. So that means 50 snakes. Then 5 howl, decreasing, na? So it is decreasing. So discuss with your friends about this example and answer the following. Which organisms are consumers in the given food chain? So in this food chain, which are the consumers? Rats, snakes and hawks are the consumers. So which are the producers? Plants are the producers. Okay, how many rice plants would feed a rat? Okay, 1 rat. So for the 1 lakh plants, 1000 rats means, so for 1 rat will eat how many plants? 1000 plants, na? 1000. Okay, can keep 1000 plant. So a hawk feeds on how many snakes? So hawks how many? 5 are there. Okay, and snakes how many? 50. Okay, so one hawk can eat how many snakes? 10 snakes. So 10, 10, 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, na? So 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 hawks. Each hawk can eat 10 snakes. So like that, na? So if rats are killed, how would it affect rice plants, snakes and hawks? If the rats are killed in this food chain means snakes will affect, na? Snakes will not get the food. and if the snakes are not there, hawks will not get the food. Okay, and rice plants, what it will happen, it will grow nicely only, there is no rats means. Okay, if you answer above question on the basis of a given food web, how do you think the killing of all rats would affect the population in the squirrels and the herbivores insect feeding on plants? Insect feeding on plants means insect is eating on the plants. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, the next one we see here. So there is a such lot of diversity means, right, meaning changes are there in the living world that the relationship of eating and being eaten cannot be completely understood by a food chain. So by only a food chain, linear chain, we cannot understand. So a food web gives a better preview of the same. So food web will this is the food web, right, will explain to us very nicely how each other depend on the food. This is the food chain. Then food chain, food web will explain to us very well. Okay, so here we see ecosystem and trophic levels. So they are explaining in the different levels ecosystem. You may have observed several food chains in the food web of the rice field. We found there that the food chain started with mainly rice plants. Food chain started with what? Rice plants. Those that feed on the rice plants like sparrows, herbivores, insects, rats, rabbits, squirrels, etc. are primary consumers. Okay, for example, here I will say plants are the producers. On the plants who is depending? Squirrel, rabbit, rat, seed, herbivorous insect. All these are the primary consumer. That means first they only eat the rice, primary consumers. And this rat is eaten by whom? This rabbit, and eaten by fox, eaten by this one. Okay, and this is eaten by the snake. So this fox, human being, and snakes, and owl, these are the secondary consumers. Okay, so plants eating first one, this one, primary consumers, eaters, na? So afterwards, after eating the plant, now they are growing up nicely. So this rabbit is eaten by fox. So fox, all these are the secondary consumers. Okay, so like this we understand. So here you understand. The study organisms feeding at different levels. We consider them to be occupying a certain level of the feeding called a tropical level. That could be either producer, primary consumers, or secondary consumers, as it follows. So here it is not given properly. See the textbook. Producers means first tropic level. Plants. Primary consumer is the second tropic level. Secondary consumer is the third tropic level. Tertiary consumers eating, fourth tropic level. Okay, so quaternary means fourth consumers are the fifth tropic level. Okay, so here you see feeding behavior. Okay, so population of organisms of particular tropic level we might find competitive. Competitive means competition for the food, to get the food. Feeding behavior. Those on higher tropic level or depend on the lower tropic level. So first tropic level, primary tropic level depend upon the producers. Third tropic level depend upon the secondary tropic level. Fourth tropic level depend upon the third tropic level for the food. So the population of the organisms of the tropic level is controlled by the population of the next to the higher tropic level. There are certain other organisms in nature that either feed on dead or decaying matter on the waste of the other organisms. These may be scavengers like crows, cockroaches, etc. decomposed like bacteria, fungi. Some animals will die and mix in the they mix in the soil, na? They are called as a scavenger. That scavengers means those who eat the dead animals. For example, cow eat the dead animals. Na? Cow, cockroaches, some bacteria, fungi, fox, they eat the dead animals. Those who eat the dead animal, they are called as a scavengers. For example, crows and cockroaches. First tropic level, plants. Okay, so second tropic level, vegetarian. That means those who eat only the vegetables, na? So they depend upon the first. The second tropic, carnivores. Carnivores, these who eat the flesh and meat. Third, consumers. And then scavengers. Scavengers means what? they eat the only the dead animals, and scavengers grow on the dead plants and dead animals. All this is, and decomposers means dead animals which mix in the or dead leaves or dead plants or dead animals. After so many days it will mix in the soil. It is a decomposers. So decomposers are the good manure, good humus for the plants. Okay, so this is the interrelationship is there between everything. Okay, so the scavengers will eat. When this carnivores means what we can say, fox, crow, they also eat flesh, and flesh they eat na. So when they die, they become food for the scavengers. Okay, so this is the relationship. Thank you, students.